In compliance with international law, you are required to register all firearms within your household by this date or else. Will that ever happen in the United States of America? It could. Have you been paying attention to what's going on at the UN July 2012? I'm going to read a quote by a dude who I think is pretty awesome, Wayne LaPierre of the National Rifle Association, as he summarizes what could happen in this treaty, what they're after. If you're the government, you get guns. If you're a civilian, you don't? That's correct. That's what this trade treaty is after. It is all-encompassing, perhaps reaching even inside the borders of the United States of America and undermining, if not completely destroying, the Second Amendment. Amendment. I don't do these political action videos very often. When I see a legitimate threat to our freedoms, I will use the pulpit of TNP to have you guys help me in defending freedom. One of my key tenets here in TNP. It is July 2012. These meetings are underway till July 27th, is what the article on nra-ila website says. By the way, are you a current NRA member? Do you contribute to nra-ila? You should, because nra-ila right now is at those meetings representing your interests as a U.S. gun owner. There might be some other organizations out there, and I love those guys too, but few have the clout, the political capabilities of the NRA. And when I hear of these threats to our freedom, and throughout the years here in TNP, I've heard all kinds of calls. Hey, Nutnfancy, you need to make a video on this, on that. I do research. If I don't see it on the nra-ila website, it is very rare that I'll do a video on it because it's probably not a legitimate thing. And I'm not going to waste your guys' time. I'm only going to have you help me when it's legit. I'm going to skim through the article here on the nra-ila website. And by the way, this news piece is so big, it ain't just there, it's everywhere. Fox News has it, other news feeds are talking about it. It's a big deal. If you are a patriot, and I expect you are if you're still watching this video, you know the UN's efforts to disarm Americans has been ongoing. They want to bring them into a so-called international umbrella of love, peace, and disarmament. That's been going on for a long time. In large measure, you can thank the NRA that has not passed. They have worked tirelessly over the years preventing it. But this movement is gaining momentum. It has the political backing of the Obama administration. My understanding is President Bush chose to not participate in the ATT talks. He had the U.S. withdraw. Not Obama. He's like, yeah, we're on board with that. Whatever it says, you betcha. So that fictitious piece I read at the beginning could actually become U.S. law. As they come and seek to take your guns, hey, we're only in compliance with international treaty, we have to do it. While all the other rogue states and nations do nothing to comply with whatever benefits such a treaty would bring about. Unbelievable. NRA will continue to maintain a strong presence at the ATT meeting, which will run through July 27th. Addressing the conference on Tuesday, UN Secretary blah blah blah, I don't care who he is, he's an idiot, made an emotional speech calling for ATT. He said it was a disgrace that there is no treaty covering conventional arms, meaning small arms privately held, and that the world is overarmed. Well, here's a heads up, they'll always be armed. Evil people will always have dangerous things. How about good people have those? Oh, but wait, good people obey the laws. It's easy to disarm the good people because they're law-abiding. He also called for strict national registration to control arms, just like we've seen in the United Kingdom, right? They know where they are, they can come get them, and they will come get them. Meanwhile, Norway Norway, what's up with you? Meanwhile, Norway made its opening statement and called for the scope of the treaty to include non-military arms, a direct call that civilian firearms should be included within the ATT. Interesting. I guess Mexico is on board too. For a while now, Mexico wants to blame all their crime problems on, I don't know, the Second Amendment in the United States. Well, guess what? They see the ATT as a vehicle to achieve their political purposes. They're very much calling for privately held firearms to be essentially confiscated. Let's be honest. This statement continued Mexico's efforts to blame its drug cartel problem on American guns. Yep, just said that. The Mexican delegate went on to say specifically that civilian firearms need to be included in the ATT. Now, this is a very important point because they're talking about the transfer of arms, maybe the selling of arms, their acquisition between nations, states, whatever. But there's a contingent that says we want to control all arms, small arms, privately held firearms, and it looks like they're going to be able to do that. Last year, and there's some good guys on our side. Here's one of them. Senator Jerry Moran of Kansas, Republican, and 7 senators signed a letter to President Obama and Hillary Clinton reminding them that the Senate has final say on treaties, which is true. It has to be ratified by 2/3 vote. Don't count on them for anything. I'm just saying. And stating their unequivocal opposition to any treaty that would affect civilian ownership of firearms. Challenge the authority of Congress to regulate these firearms in the U.S. Thank you. So there are some good guys there. The NRA would vehemently oppose any UN treaty that in any way restricts gun owners' rights. Excellent. And then Senator Moran passed a, I'll just read this because I have a letter to the senator I'm going to read you here in just a second. Another guy said, the Tester Moran amendment says we can't use taxpayer dollars to enforce or to implement such provision in the U.S., so they're trying to kill the funding to it. The bottom line is this has a lot of political support. On an international level, I think they need 65 countries to ratify it. And then also, to be honest, here within the United States, our president and all his cronies are very much on board. Going back to my video I posted a while back on King Obama, I said President Obama is anti-gun. He's anti-Second Amendment. I had some people say, well, no, he's not. Well, just look at his state senatorial voting record. Look at this alone, where he reverses that position, saying, you know what, we are going to participate in the ATT. We're excited about bringing that on board and making the world a better place. That is a protectionist mindset. It is rooted in fantasy, not reality. You'll never be able to disarm evil people. Also, there's another bad part of ATT in regards to its implementation. It could drastically affect how we can help our allies to the United States, whether it be Israel, Taiwan, giving them guns, ammunition, jet fighters, whatever they need. The ATT could actually limit that and say, you know what, you can't do that. The size and scope will be greatly limited. So that's another bad side. I'm going to jump to the letter that I have written for you in the sidebar. What I'm going to ask that you guys do is cut and paste this and put your address in there, put the address of your senator in there, and send it off. I want you to send it off in 2 different forms, both email, which you can do right now, and also via snail mail, that is United States Postal Service. Now, to our overseas TMPers, we love you guys. We would like to hear from you as well. You know, if you're out of country, I don't know how much weight that carries, but we appreciate all the support. If you go to the nra-ila website, I'm going to put a picture up right now, you're going to see a link in the right sidebar to contact your representatives. You click on that, you put in your zip code, and then it will populate with your 2 senators. So you're going to send 2 sets of letters off to your senators. Make sure you get the names right, by the way. In other words, if you print one senator's name out, make sure it goes in the right envelope addressed to that senator. And also hand label your envelope, because the typed stuff just looks like it's a form letter, and a lot of times they blow that off. Here's my letter. I'm writing you with great concern regarding the current UN talks on the proposed Arms Trade Treaty, ATT. President Obama has chosen to reverse the Bush administration position to exclude the U.S. from these talks. In doing so, he advocates the implementation of widespread limits on U.S. civilian firearms ownership and restrict self-defense options for our allies. Please oppose this. When you write a letter, you want to be direct, respectful, and to the point. Mine is 5 short paragraphs long. Ratification of this, you guys are saying 5 short. There's a lot to say, though. Ratification of this treaty and its subsequent enforcement within U.S. borders threatens to undermine the constitutional protections of our sovereign citizens. Discussions this month indicate the ATT will attempt to bring into its jurisdiction, has no jurisdiction over us, but they're pretending it does, the registration, transfer, and ownership of all types of small arms owned by law-abiding citizens. This solidly violates the Second Amendment and gives control of U.S. affairs to decidedly anti-U.S. nations. Iran, for instance, is a key voice in these talks. They are. Mexico, also keen on the destruction of U.S. gun rights, is a vocal advocate for the ATT to include control of private arms. I am a supporter of Senator Moran's Second Amendment Sovereignty Act S-2205, which disallows UN control by treaty or otherwise of these constitutionally protected self-defense rights. In no way should the UN be allowed to restrict, lessen, dissolve, or any way impact the rights of U.S. citizens. All procedural and legal means should be adopted and used to oppose the UN and its efforts. Moreover, this AT is posed to also seriously curtail U.S. foreign policy as it may seek to restrict types, quantities, methods of acquisition, etc. of weapons to our allies. Again, the UN has no business or legal rights in seeking such a limitation or control over U.S. affairs. History has shown that while rogue states routinely violate such controls and treaties, negating their efficacy in the first place, the U.S. does not, and our capabilities and options suffer as a consequence. Final paragraph. The U.S. should withdraw from these talks immediately on the grounds of sovereign protection of its citizens. I expect President Obama to ignore this call. He will. However, as one of your informed constituents, I ask that you oppose this ATT and any subsequent UN effort restricting small arms with all your capability. I will thank you for this effort when I arrive at the voting booth. Sincerely, Mr. TMPer. There you go. I wrote your letter. All you got to do is cut and paste it. I can't really separate the paragraphs with my current HTML capabilities in YouTube. You want to do a new paragraph? This is really basic, but after, please oppose this, new paragraph. ATT to include private arms, that's a new paragraph. UN and its efforts, new paragraph. I'm laughing because this is so archaic. Suffer as a consequence, new paragraph. Okay, print it out, put it in the mail, also cut and paste it in email form. Political action in the Nutnfancy project. I am trying to help preserve freedom. I am. That's one of my key goals here in the Nutnfancy project. Taking time out from all my work, the adventures, family obligations, friend obligations to make this video. And I hope you will do your part. And I want you guys to join and stay current in the UN, the NRA. And also give generously whenever you can to the nra-ila, because those dollars go to fight these battles. Your kids will thank you. This is Nutnfancy. Hope you're having a great summer.